Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Lordship.
Yes.
Yes, thank you for the indulgence, Your Lordship. As ordered by the court, we can proceed.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Lutibezi. Mr. Esau, you may kindly move to the witness stand. Good afternoon, Mr. Esau.
Good afternoon.
Thank you.
And, a happy belated Workers' Day.
Thank you, Mr. Esau. Thank you. We continue from where we stopped. I recall that you had completed your evidence in chief.
Correct, my lord.
Yes, I'll allow counsel for the state in case he has questions to proceed. Be comfortable.
Yes.
If you wish, you can take a seat. In case a question has to be repeated, you may indicate that the question is not clear.
Correct, my lord.
Thank you, Mr. Esau. You may proceed, Mr. Lutibezi.
Thank you, Your Lordship. I see he's requesting for me to wait a bit. Oh, okay.
I need a pen.
I think he wants to request something, Your Lordship.
Yes.
I do not know what he wants to say.
No, it's fine.
I got the pen.
Oh, okay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Esau.
Good afternoon, sir.
Mr. Esau, are you an honest man?
As honest can be, my lord.
No, okay. And as an honest man, I take it that you want the court to believe you when you inform this court that you are not going to interfere with witnesses, with this case, or with investigations. Is that correct?
Correct, my lord.
And as an honest man, you also want this court to believe from your evidence that it is in the interest of the administration of justice and in the interest of the public for you to be released on bail. Is that your evidence?
Correct, my lord.
Okay.
Correct, my lord.
Okay.
In my mind,
Yes.
I believe that I will never interfere
Oh, okay.
with evidences or with witnesses.
All right. Mr. Esau, you have also outlined the nature of the assets that you own. Is that correct?
Correct, my lord.
Can you just tell me what are those assets?
I have a house in Papagaayenweg, 91. That's a fixed asset that I bought sometimes in 1996. I have a farm, Dakota, which I bought in 2002 in the Gobabes district in Omaheke region. And with the disclosure, my lord, I happened to learn that this very property at Doornveld, something, the name of that farm, was purchased, was paid for in an entity called Ochivarongo Plot 51.
Oh.
And then I have bank accounts as well, which are current assets with Standard Bank, with Netbank, my lord, and also with Bank Windhoek, Unit Trust. And what else do I have? Cattle,
Yes.
livestock, small and large stock. I have, furnitures and fittings. I have vehicles.
Sorry, you said furniture and fittings.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's TVs and things like that.
Okay.
It's fittings.
And you said vehicles?
Yeah, vehicles. I have vehicles. I have Mercedes-Benz, which was my official vehicle, which I bought in 2015, I think. My memory serves me well. I have also my official vehicle, which was another Mercedes-Benz, which is registered in my name. And I also own, by the way, a small portion of, through inheritance from my parents, in Swakopmund, that is 1/3, because we were born 3. So 1/3 of that very property, the house in Mondesa, is also owned by me. But that is what I can remember. And what else do I remember? But I don't have my balance sheet with me here to confirm whatever is there. But I don't have even any other accounts outside the country. Nothing at all. I don't have any interest in any entity except, as I've said, the Ochivarongo plot CC 51. And what else do I have? The others are dormant assets which I have declared at Parliament. There's a company called Born Africa Investments, which was registered sometimes before my appointment as a minister of fisheries. And there's also another CC which belongs to me, the late Chief Hotimang, and another person called Brokodov Friedel from Swakopmund. We were farmers and we were trying at least to see what we can do. But in terms of my declaration, my Lord, Parliament-wise, in fact, all my assets are listed there where I have interest in.
All right. Now, these CCs that you declared, what was the nature of their businesses?
Which
one?
He referred to Born Africa Investment.
Born Africa Investments, or called BAIL.
BAIL.
BAIL, yes. B-A-I-L. BAIL.
Yes.
Yes.
Why you are here today?
Yes, I had 50% in that, and 50% was owned by the late Ignatius Shikwameni. Now, the nature of that business was for investments, as it said, investments limited. Investments in whatever we wanted to invest.
Okay.
But it was a dormant vehicle, which was never, in fact, never came off the ground, but it was registered. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other one, this is what I said, the other CC with Chief Hotimang was also, the nature of it was farming, livestock business, but there's nothing happened to that.
Okay. Now, with the Born African Investment, you said that it will be investments in whatever you wish.
Correct.
Does that include anything in concerning the fishing sector?
No, we were not thinking about fishing at that time as well.
Okay. Now, would I be correct to say that the reason as to why you outlined these assets to the court is to illustrate to the court that you have assets in Namibia and you have no intention of running away, absconding?
My Lord, I have no intention to leave my motherland, Namibia. Okay. Namibia is where I was born, that's where I grew up, that's where I had all my interest. And in addition even to that, my Lord, I was also serving on the board of Nafao Investments Company as a director. That time, before I became even a minister of fisheries. That's a trade union company. I was also serving on the board of LIH with the current Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Madam Loite Kasingo, we were all on those boards, at least to see how we can give material meaning to self-reliance for the union, for the labor movement in this country.
All right. So in instance, you illustrate that you have ties here in Namibia. You will not abscond because you have assets in Namibia.
I cannot abscond, my Lord, for whatever reason. I cannot abscond. There's no way.
Okay.
Even my gravesite has already been bought here in Namibia, in Swakopmund, where I am going to rest, my final resting place.
Okay.
Next to my late brother.
Okay.
In Mondesa.
All right.
Where my parents are, in fact, buried. Mother, father, grandparents. They are all there.
Okay. Will also be correct in saying that you have no intention of converting these assets into cash, selling these assets, buying a plane ticket, or through other means running away from Namibia?
Not at all, my Lord.
Okay, as an honest man that you said you are, do you recall if you own any other assets apart from the ones that you've mentioned?
Sure, it is very, very difficult for me really to recall any assets that I own in Namibia or elsewhere. I can't recall, I can't remember. I can't remember, my Lord.
All right.
Maybe age is catching up with me. If I forget.
Oh, okay. No,
because I'm going to 66 years of age now.
This year?
65, yes, this year.
Oh, okay. No, it's fine, I understand. Maybe let me try to jot your memory a bit. As an honest man that you say you are, do you own a black iPhone with 2 SIM cards from China? Give an honest answer as an honest man. Mr. Esau?
Just hang on, I'm taking note.
You want to think about the...
No. I don't own. I have to tell you, I don't own. I was offered, but I returned it.
Okay, just hold on.
I returned it.
What were you offered?
My Lord, during the time of the visit of the President of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, His Excellency, I was invited for dinner after a state banquet by a person called Saki Kadira, who was a member of the Marine Resources Advisory Council and also a member or a shareholder of one of the fishing companies called Omwalu Fishing. I was invited to be introduced to a team of investors from Hong Kong, so-called, and I said, in inverted commas. That night, I took out two cell phones.
When was this?
When was that? I said, during the time of the visit of His Excellency Paul Kagame, state visit here in Namibia.
Do you remember which year it was?
That was either 2019, if my memory serves me well. Yeah, 2019.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. I am, if not 2019, it must be late 2018. I took out two cell phones, one official one and one private cell phone, my Lord. And I said, it is really inconvenient for somebody to have two cell phones. And I told them, I understand that there is a cell phone that can take 2 SIM cards, so you don't need to carry two cell phones.
Who are you telling this?
I told in the presence of Saki Abadira, Amomo, and in the presence of those very so-called investors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the name Saki Kadila?
Kadila
Saki
Amomo. Saki Kadila Amomo. He used both. He's a lawyer as well.
Thank you.
My lord.
And those so-called investors, did one of them go by the name of Johnny?
There was a short one called Johnny, my lord.
Johnny.
He
Yes.
called himself Johnny, but I don't know whether it was his real name.
Yes.
It was. Yes, my lord.
All right. You took out the cell phones and?
I took out my cell phones from my pocket.
My objection is purely premised on relevance, my lord. Number one, cell phone would not impact on the assets of a particular person, nor would his clothing apparel. And all of these aspects that my learned friend are asking questions on do not even relate to the indictment that we are currently, or the accused person is currently facing, the applicant in this matter. So this line of questioning relates to something that is not part of the indictment, my lord. And it has no served the Honorable Court no relevance.
Your Worship, this evidence is extremely relevant because at the end of the day, the court needs to know, are there assets which have not been disclosed to this court? And as I indicated earlier on, he said he testified on the nature of the assets that he owns. He even mentioned his TVs and so on. So if these assets were not relevant, he would not have testified on them, but he testified on it. And we know iPhones are not cheap commodities. iPhones can be sold and you get your plane ticket, you disappear. It is an asset. So the purpose of this cross-examination is to cross-examine on the assets which are owned by the accused person. And we want to establish if there are any other assets which has not disclosed to the court which he owns. So it is relevant for that aspect, Your Lordship.
I'll allow you to continue.
As it pleases the court, Your Lordship. You were testifying that in their presence you removed your 2 cell phones.
Correct. I took it out and put it on the table that evening at a Chinese restaurant in Kleinwindhoek, in the presence of Saki Amomo and those 2 or 3 delegates from so-called investors. And I was saying it was inconvenient for somebody to carry 2 cell phones if there are cell phones, I understand, in Hong Kong, because they introduced themselves as Hong Kong investors.
Okay, just give me an opportunity to write notes. I'm doing all the writing myself today. Okay, so you indicated to them that you understand there are cell phones in Hong Kong.
I never indicated that I understand their cell phones in Hong Kong.
Okay, what did you indicate?
What I said that is I understand that in Hong Kong you have a cell phone which can accommodate 2 SIM cards. That's what I told them. I've never requested them to give me a cell phone of 2 SIM cards.
Okay. And what was the purpose of you informing them this?
The purpose was, the inconveniency, my lord, of carrying 2 cell phones. One government, belongs to the government, and one private cell phone, which in fact was rated and taken by this team of investigators. They have the cell phones.
Which cell phones?
Those, the 2, but not the Hong Kong one.
Oh, okay. Now, you are informing these people that you understand that there are cell phones in Hong Kong which have 2 SIM cards.
Correct.
What did you want them to do with that information?
My lord, I was just registering the issue of the inconveniency of carrying 2 2 cell phones on you. And I was saying that I understand there is in Hong Kong, cell phones that can take 2 SIM cards.
Now, did you ever request for any particular color for that cell phone or indicate any particular color of any cell phones in Hong Kong?
My Lord,
My lord, again, objection, my lord. The witness have, this line of questioning, why I'm saying this line of questioning is irrelevant. The witness have answered he had the cell phone and he gave the cell phone back. So what he's saying is that he does not have it in essence. So what is the relevance of this probing, my lord? He's indicated he does not have the cell phone anymore. So it's no longer an asset that is within his possession. So therefore, the entire questioning and line of questioning is irrelevant, my lord, and we are wasting valuable time.
Well, to the extent that you indicated, Isani, it's one of the assets, I think it has been established and you have canvassed around the area.
Yes,
Is there still much to cover on this aspect?
Yes, Your Lordship, because at the end of the day, the applicant has said he does not have that cell phone,
Yes.
that he, in actual fact, never had it. So that still has to be dealt with with the applicant cross-examination. We cannot just let this go and then come and argue that he, in fact, possessed or owns such a cell phone that is an asset of his. So I have to canvass it with him now. I have to put it in cross-examination. I'll get there. I'll put the state's version to him. But I have to canvass this issue with him, Your Lordship, regarding this particular asset.
Okay, that's fine. Just be mindful that we should also move on to other aspects. I'll allow you to continue.
Yes, Your Lordship.
It's
Like I said,
because I don't really know what is it that you want to address, but just be mindful of the fact that we need to cover a number of aspects and move to finality.
Yes, Your Lordship. As I indicated to the court, once I've streamlined the documents, we'll move a bit faster tomorrow. It's not going to take much time tomorrow. I can assure the court.
You may proceed, Mr. Lutibezi.
As it pleases the court, Your Lordship. All right, Mr. Esau, the last question that I had asked you, did you indicate any color with regard to these SIM cards from Hong Kong? Any preferred color?
my Lord, a SIM card doesn't have a color.
A cell phone.
Okay. My Lord, I had 2 black cell phones with me. And I can see where my honorable counsel from state is leading to. I have read that very affidavit.
Yes.
I have read it, I know about it.
Yes.
And it was tampered with, my Lord. It was tampered with. That part, which I said when I was introduced, is not covered.
Okay.
It's not covered by that one, my Lord. And this very matter, I had 2 black cell phones with me, which was in fact in an apartheid-style raid in my house here in Windhoek, Auckland Park, was taken by this team of investigators under the command of Willem Olivier. He was there. They took it. I signed off for those cell phones, my Lord. This affidavit is tampered with. I saw it in interviews.
It will be of assistance, Mr. Esau, if you can also just answer the question.
Correct.
That did you indicate a color preference for this cell phone in Hong Kong?
I had two black cell phones. One government, that says, my Lord, one government cell phone, and one private. I did say I like black. Black is beauty. That's what I said. Black is, in fact, I like black.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Would I be correct to say that that meeting that you had with Mr. Johnny and Mr. Momo, you are attending in your official capacity?
My Lord, I was introduced as a Minister of Fisheries to this people called asset management and asset managers from Hong Kong. They came and told me about Hong Kong was unstable politically and otherwise, to my recollection, and they want to move their assets to Namibia in fishing and fishing industry. And it is on that basis, since I have an open door policy, I was not trying to say, no, I don't want to see people. They, in fact, took me late in the evening from the state banquet. I was on my way back home, and I was dropped by my driver and my wife, who was accompanying me to the state banquet at that very Chinese, what do you call it? Restaurant. Yes, my lord. In Kleinwindhoek.
Okay, maybe if you did not get my question, I'll just ask it again. That meeting, were you attending in your official capacity?
My lord, I checked again. Relevance is again, now we are probing into a different area, my lord. My learned friend indicated he initially wanted to establish the assets, and the purpose of establishing the assets of the witness is to determine whether the witness will abscond, my lord. Now, we know that this is an application on new facts, and the court of quo already yelled at and found that the aspect of abscondment and the aspect of interference is a non-issue, my lord. And now we are wasting valuable time in terms of what capacity the witness attended meetings just to establish whether he has a cell phone or not, which he said he had it and he gave it back. We are really wasting time, and it's absolutely not relevant to these proceedings in light of the finding of the court of quo, as it pleases the court.
Your Lordship, I'll just move on, because just to a different aspect of this. I know the court has already made a ruling on this particular issue. Mr. Esau, did you have any other meeting with this person, Mr. Johnny, after this initial meeting?
Objection, my lord. This objection is premised on the same aspect. We've indicated that the applicant was not charged for anything related to those meetings that he had with those delegates, with a particular Johnny. It's not part of the indictment. It is absolutely not relevant for the purposes of this honorable court coming to the decision on the current charges that the witness is facing, my lord. My learned friend is just probing on something, and I know where he's going, my lord. This is in terms of the Al Jazeera witnesses that came to testify. That does not form part of the charges, my lord. Now he's probing the witness to give answers that has got nothing to do with this particular bail application, with the facts upon which they rely upon to indict the witness, my lord. As it please the court.
Your Lordship, the court has ruled on the relevance of the assets, and I'm not dealing with a second possible meeting with this person with regard to the receipt of that asset. So that is relevant for purposes of these proceedings, Your Lordship, and that is what I want to touch on.
May I proceed?
May it please the court? Yes, Mr. Esau, was there a second meeting with this Mr. Johnny and any other persons?
My lord, maybe I have not attended to the first question, whether I have my meetings in official capacity or private capacity, whatever. My meetings, which I attended, when it's not something personal, my lord, then I am 24/7 official. I'm official 24/7, and the person who invited me to that meeting was a member of the Marine Advisory Council, who in fact told me about this very people, about who wants to invest in Namibia. The other question, whether any other meeting, whether I had any other meeting with Johnny. My lord, Johnny followed us to Japan. In Japan, he called. He said he wants to show me the, what is it, the market, the fish market in Japan. which could not materialize. And we went for a meal. He took me to a restaurant, a fish restaurant there not in Hong Kong, in Tokyo. I was part of the delegation of the president.
Part of the delegation with whom?
Of our president here. And he wanted to see me, and he wants also to see the president for that matter. I said no. In fact, let me stop first here. Let me see what's the next question. What is your next?
I thought you were narrating to us that you met him.
Yes, I'm saying I met him in Hong Kong.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
And was that the only other meeting you had with him?
Is it Hong Kong or Japan?
Hong Kong, no, Japan, my lord.
Japan.
Sorry, Japan. It was in Tokyo. They took me from, in Tokyo.
Okay. And what was the purpose of this meeting?
I said he wants to show me first of all, the fish market. Unfortunately, I missed it. I could not go, so he took me for a dinner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for a dinner there.
Now, insofar as this application is concerned, did the issue of the iPhone with the double SIM cards arise? Yes, you said correct before I finished my question. Suppose it arose, huh?
The double SIM cards phone?
Yes, the one that you had discussed at an earlier meeting.
Here in Windhoek. They came and said, this is a cell phone? A double SIM card cell phone? So I said, oh, thank you very much. You gave a SIM card, but I have never even used that very phone because I had suspicions. I cannot be given a cell phone by somebody whom I have not even acquainted myself properly with. I don't know even. I was just introduced because they said they are a major asset management company and want to invest in Namibia.
Okay. When you said thank you very much, did you take that cell phone? What did you do with the cell phone?
I brought it and I dropped it in my study there, at home, here.
The one with the two SIM cards?
Yeah, the two SIM cards.
Oh, okay.
I dropped it just there. I have not even used it.
Oh, okay.
Because I had the two.
Oh, okay.
Because I never had time at least to acquaint myself with the features even of that cell phone.
So if I understood you correctly, you took it and then you brought it here, you left it, you never used it.
I dropped it. Sometimes I also donate things whatever I'm getting.
Yes, but
that's my culture. I will give, if you don't have I can give you the cell phone.
No, I don't want it. I don't want the.
So I returned it, my
lord. The cell phone is fine.
I returned the cell phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we have
through Saki, who introduced me to him.
Okay, just hold on. You're in Japan.
Correct.
You took possession of the phone.
Yeah,
you brought it here in Windhoek.
Correct.
Left it in your studies.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you never used it.
Mm-hmm.
If I recall correctly, did you also say you don't remember where it is exactly?
No, I never said that.
Where is it?
My lord, I said I returned it through Saki Amomo, not Saki Shagara, because at that time, it's Saki Amomo. I said, take this SIM card back to these people. Because I have suspicions on this matter.
What suspicions?
Are they real investors or not real investors?
Okay, so if they were real investors, you'll take the cell phone?
Correct.
You'll take the cell phone?
My lord, for the mere fact of politeness, you are in a strange country. People give you something in a strange country which you don't even know. I have not even used that, and I brought it here and I returned it back to them. I said, because I was alerted, don't take cell phones from strangers. don't use cell phones from strangers because you don't know what is tempered on that very cell phone.
All right.
That was my security, my consciousness in security matters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I was also afraid, as I've said. If I say I don't take it, I don't know this person well. I was just introduced. It's the second meeting I met him. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I have to play safe and sound.
All right.
Yeah.
So, would I then be correct to say that from the time that you took the cell phone in Japan till the time that you had it here in Namibia, you were basically the owner of that cell phone until you decided to give it back, right?
No, not at all, my lord.
And who was the owner?
I was not the owner of that cell phone because, my lord, I have not even declared that cell phone, that gift, in my declaration, asset declaration, to the president, to parliament, not at all. What is mine, what was ours, my family's, is declared in the asset register of parliament, what you are getting. And it's not declared.
Oh, okay.
So it cannot be mine.
All right.
I was maybe a carrier of somebody's. The owners of that cell phone may be carrying it.
Which owners are you referring to?
Johnny, what you call them?
You were carrying it for Johnny.
They gave it, so I returned it to them. If it was mine, I should have kept it.
Okay. Just one last aspect on that. Why did you take the phone in the first place?
My lord, objection. My learned friend is purely wasting time, my lord. These questions have been asked and answered. The purpose of this line of questioning is to establish whether the witness owns a cell phone, whether he failed to disclose the cell phone to the court. He's saying he does not own it anymore. It's not in his possession anymore. He returned it through Mr. Gadila. So I don't see the relevance of this line of questioning. It's just a glorious waste of time. And my learned friend, he's just buying time because we know that he was not prepared early in this morning, and now we have to go through this line of questioning for 45 minutes on a cell phone that has been returned, and particularly on an aspect that has already been dealt with in the court of quo. He will not abscond.
Your objection also is taking time because he would have answered by now, and he would have moved on to another aspect. I just tend to think it's just for completeness sake. Yes, so, it's the issue that we are currently dealing with. You may just deal with that last aspect and then we move on.
Correct, my lord.
Yeah,
Yes.
Thank you, Lordship. What is your comment on that? Why did you take the cell phone in the first place?
My lord, I testified that I was in a country, strange country, Japan. And for security reasons, this person who was introduced to me here in Window, I never met him somewhere else other than here in Window for the first time, is bringing me a cell phone for my security reasons and safety. I could not say, okay, no, thank you very much. I could not say that. I had to take security into account, my safety into account. Because I could have disappeared there in Tokyo without knowing what was the agenda behind this very thing. Because, my lord, as you are getting in high positions, people try to bribe you. They try to bribe. And I was vigilant. I was conscious of those very things. So I had to play the game in order not to fall victim of an environment which I don't know. I cannot speak Japanese. I cannot understand or write or read Japanese. I don't know. So I had to take it, bring it back to Windhoek here, and I said, take your cell phone for security. I am not taking cell phones of people who, I have a government cell phone and I have my own cell phone.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
You, in your testimony now, referred to Mr. Johnny as a so-called investor. You became aware at a later stage that he was not an investor, is that correct?
Yeah, it became aware that he was not really an investor.
No, okay. And that the proceedings that were taking place were, in actual fact, the meetings were being recorded.
I was not even aware.
Objection. Again, relevance, my lord. This is now exactly where I anticipated my learned friend would go with the probing of the Al Jazeera aspect that is not part of the indictment, not part of the charge, is not relevant to these proceedings. As it pleases the court.
Your Lordship, I'm solely limiting this to the asset, one of the assets. I'm solely limiting this to the asset that he's now confirmed in cross-examination that he in fact took possession of at some stage. So I just want to now put it to him, to put to him the version of the state, Your Lordship, based on the affidavits which are available in the docket.
Yes, because to the extent that your colleague is highlighting the issue, as you indicated, the purpose of the question being to deal with his assets, I thought that was covered. I see that you were moving on to a different aspect which is not really related to that.
Yes.
But with what you are saying, I will allow you to move on.
As it plays the court, Your Lordship, because we have an affidavit, and want also that for that to be produced.
You may proceed.
You indicated you have an affidavit that was provided in this particular case, is that correct?
Come again, my lord.
You are aware of an affidavit that was provided in this particular case regarding those meetings, the Al Jazeera documentary. You testified earlier on.
Yeah, my lord, I read and I never saw any relevance of that very affidavit to my application for bail. Hence, this very affidavit was not included in my evidence in chief. It was never included in the evidence of chief because it was of no relevance to my understanding as a layman.
Okay. For purposes of cross-examination, it's relevant, so I'm going to just in short, just refer you to 2 paragraphs relevant in this matter. I just want you to have a look at this affidavit. Give him one and one for the court. You have the affidavit before you.
Correct, my lord?
That is the affidavit that you've gone through and you deemed not relevant for purposes of your case.
Correct, my lord?
And the affidavit by Mr. James Anthony Kleinfeld,
Correct, my lord?
who works at Al Jazeera Media Network's Investigative Directorate,
Correct, my lord?
where he indicates in that affidavit that I work for the Al Jazeera Media Network's Investigative Directorate as an investigative journalist and was part of a team that traveled to Namibia in July and August 2019 to investigate allegations of bribery and money laundering in the Namibian fishing sector, and which thereafter produced a video documentary on that subject.
I read.
And then he goes on to say, exhibited to this affidavit is a copy of the documentary transcript, Annexure 8, made by the Directorate during investigations, as well as the copy of the documentary. You see that?
Correct, I see it.
And then he attached the transcript. You see that, his statement?
Correct, my lord, I see.
All right.
Is this Johnny, the one that you were referring to as Johnny?
I'll get to that, Your Lordship.
Okay.
I just want to deal with that now with this witness. Now, if we go to page 7 of that transcript.
Did you say page 7 or paragraph 7?
Page 7, Your Lordship.
Okay.
Now, this transcript depicts the narration in the documentary. Is that correct?
My Lord, I have testified here that this transcript was tampered with. It has not started with the introduction of me to them, this Johnny, or who, this Al Jazeera people. They have not covered that one. It has been tampered. And I don't know what other tampers, what other interferences was brought in to make their case, to try to make a case against me accepting bribes or things like that.
All right, no, that is your version. As indicated, there's a copy of the transcript and the video recording. I just want to show you the transcript.
Okay.
You are Mr. Bernhard Esau, correct?
Born Bernhard Esau, still born
Correct.
Bernhard Esau.
Yes. Now, do you recall this conversation, part of this conversation, where you indicated to Mr. Johnny that it's only in China where you can get an iPhone with a double SIM cards? You recall saying that?
I have testified that already.
Okay, so
I
that is
testified that because there's one China policy, it's Hong Kong. And I said that it is only there where you get this what's it, the double SIM card iPhone.
okay. So
Yes.
my question is simple. What is written there is correctly depicting what you said, yeah?
That very part, that one, I have no dispute about that.
All right. And then Mr. Johnny told you that we can get it very easily. What's your favorite color, Minister? You see that?
I see,
That's what he said to you?
I can't recall.
Okay. And then your response is indicated there as Mr. Bernhard Esau. My favorite color? Black. Is that what you said?
My Lord, I testified that black is beauty. My favorite color is black.
Okay.
There's nothing else I can say no.
All right. It's just a simple question. What is
Correct.
written there is, does it correctly depict what you had said?
Sorry, my Lord.
I think you have answered. At least I get what your response is.
As it please the court, your lordship. Can we then just skip to page 10 of that document?
Page 10, yes, my Lord.
You are Mr. Bernhard Esau, that's indicated there.
Correct, my Lord.
Okay. And you've gone through the narration which is depicted on this page, is that correct?
Just refer me to this, to the very, don't say, it's too general, my Lord.
Okay.
It's too general. I think we should be specific in this matter.
Have you read this page? You said you went through the affidavit. Have you read this particular page 10?
It was not worth the paper, my Lord.
You did not read it?
I read it and I said it's not worth of the paper.
Okay. When you read it, in your view, was this a correct depiction of what was discussed?
My Lord, I can put our court into proper perspective here. In terms of T-shirts, caps, flags for campaign, but you need people who can do it fast. My Lord, I, Bernhard Esau, was the chairperson of assigned leaders of the Karas region. And we had a fundraising for the Karas regional structures of our party, SWAPO. This very, very Johnny or whoever, as I've said, this very thing is tampered with. He has not captured the fact that he, in fact, informed me that they have funded Frelimo party in Mozambique. He's not captured here. They took only the relevant things to make a case out of this thing. They said they have funded the Frelimo party in Mozambique.
So you are saying that there are parts which are not
It's not in this.
contained.
Yes, my lord.
That is the tampering you are
That is
referring.
the tampering, that they have taken out what was fitting, what was suiting for them, and just include parts which they, in fact, think will make out a case of bribery.
All right. So if we go down, I think in the sixth
Okay.
line,
Let's go.
Mr. Johnny there informs you that I have a small gift for you. That
Where
is
is
the
it?
conversation, just the sixth line, sixth block from the top.
3, 4, 5.
Where it says, Johnny, I have a small gift for you. That is where Johnny speaks
I have
to
a
you.
Small gift for yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that is what was stated when you met him. That's what he said.
That was in Tokyo, Japan.
Yes. This is where now he gave you the iPhone with the 2 SIM cards.
He gave it to me.
All right.
I am not saying that they have not given me the
Yes.
double SIM card
Okay.
iPhone.
All right.
I have not said.
And as Mr. Bernhard Esau, you asked him, is this the double? Is that correct?
Is this the double SIM card cell phone or whatever?
Okay. So you're referring to the double SIM card cell phone there.
Correct, my lord.
All right. And Mr. Johnny replied, they told you it's a double, you can put in 2 SIM cards. Is that correct?
Correct, my lord.
All right.
I have no dispute
Okay.
on that very issue that when he brought it, but for courtesy purposes and for safety and security, I took it, but not accept. There's a difference between acceptance and taking.
All right. No, thank you, Mr. Esau. Your Lordship, there's a request for the affidavit of Mr. James Kleinfeld and the transcript to be submitted as an exhibit.
Mr. Bierkas?
No objection, my lord.
Looks like the last exhibit number was WW15 on my recording.
WW50.
15. So this will be WW16.
As it is a court, Your Lordship.
Was that the numbering? Should we continue like that?
We can, Your Lordship. When I produce the bundle, then I'll just ask for the next letters. But I think for now we can just continue with the numbering.
No,
It's-
probably we can then assign your bundle with that. From W is what?
X,
X.
double X, okay, 1.
So
Then-
we say WX1.
Yes, Your Lordship. I'll just put this in the bundle.
Okay. Marked exhibit WX1.
Mr. Esau,
The whole, he'll present a file that will call XX. Then we'll have to number them 1, 2, 3, 4. So all the documents he'll present will be XX1, XX2. Yes.
Mr. Esau, let's move on to the allegations in this matter. You have received the indictment, correct? Setting out the charges.
Yeah, as ordered by the court, my lord.
Yes. And you've noted from the indictment that the charges which you and your co-accused persons face, they are in actual fact quite serious charges, yes?
My lord, the charges are serious. I have no doubt about it. But my my testimony, evidence in chief, has debarred that very charges with evidence that it requires, that I have brought under the attention of the court.
All right. You've seen the charges, which includes, among others, charges of money laundering, racketeering, fraud, theft, contravening provisions of the Anti-Corruption Act. You've seen those charges that they're in actual fact serious, yeah?
My Lord, they are serious, but within the context of my evidence in chief that I brought under the attention of the court, my Lord, those very indictments or charges leveled against me in terms of conspiracy, in terms of racketeering, money laundering, fraud, and theft, my Lord, those charges, I said I will deny I will not plead guilty on those very charges.
Yes.
With evidence that I brought.
Yes, no, I understand your evidence. You also appreciate that the amount of funds which have been misappropriated from the quotas in this case are also substantial, exceeding at least $317 million as alleged in the indictment, yeah?
Just repeat that for me.
I'm indicating to him that he appreciates that the amount involved exceeding $317 billion. These are the funds derived from the quotas. It's a substantial amount.
My Lord, a penny or a cent, which comes from the proceeds of quotas, is substantial. Just a cent even, or a penny, it's substantial for me.
Oh, okay. And it's even more substantial if these are from government resources, yes?
From whatever resources it comes from. My Lord, I want to testify or to respond in this fashion. Since I was at high school, I was handling cash at Diabara. When I moved in to work for Rossing as a procurement officer as well, prior to independence, I had authority to sign, to commit Rossing mine to a tune of 1 million per order placed. When I went out, my Lord, and from Rossing and moved into as the Secretary General of the National Union of Namibian Workers, I went around campaigning for money for the unions in this world. And I know any cent has to be accounted for. And that was, in fact, I said, in my moral or ethical chemistry, I am not a person who will touch that is not mine. So the amounts of money which he is talking about, my Lord, my learned friend, Lutibezi, is totally not in place for me to be alleged or to be indicted on these matters.
All right. You appreciate that if convicted for these offenses, you may face a substantial period in prison.
My Lord, I was a member of parliament. When this very legislations was passed, debated, and adopted, I was a member of parliament. And I know what the consequences of such are when if you trespass or do things which is not lawful. I know. I was a member of parliament. I was the chairperson, in fact, to be gender sensitive. I was the chairperson of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Economics, the first founding one as well. Before I became a deputy minister, and after that, a minister.
Okay.
So I know the consequences, my Lord, of the legislations.
All right.
Criminal, CPA, POCA, ACC, the Anti-Corruption Act. Yes, I know.
Okay, so you know even the penalty provision that a substantial period term may follow.
I was a member of parliament, my Lord. And maybe I might go back to Parliament again. I don't know.
All right. Before we proceed, I want to find out from you, what was your relationship with your co-accused persons in this matter? Starting with Mr. Ricardo Gustavo.
Ricardo was part of the Namgoma Peshka, Namibia. My relationship, I was a minister, he was a director. There's no relationship between a director and a regulator, as you don't have a relationship with our judge here. You are a prosecutor.
Yes.
Yes, Your Lordship.
Do you recall if you...
Can I proceed? Because it's accused. It's more than one, not one accused.
Yes.
Second,
do you recall if you had any discussions with him, Mr. Ricardo Gustavo?
my Lord, to my recollection, I never had discussions, but there was letters prepared for me by my principal advisor, the then PS, for signature, for signing off, to Ricardo. But I never knew Ricardo before that time.
Okay, so your only dealings with him was sending letters,
Official, yeah.
writing letters addressed to Mr. Gustavo.
Especially on his entities, which was recommended.
Do you recall receiving letters from him?
There was a misplaced letter which was addressed to me with regard to quotas, I think, if my memory serves me well, my Lord, which I have referred to the relevant desk. That was to the office of the PS then, because I was not dealing with rights, I was not dealing with quotas, I was not dealing with licenses. I have testified, my Lord, with evidence that that very function of rights, duties and functions of the minister in terms of rights, quotas, and licenses was a delegated function in terms of 61(1) of the Marine Resources Act. That has given birth to a regulation in regards to the harvesting of marine resources, 241 of 2001. I testified that. And I said, anything that comes to my desk, even my Lord, if anybody comes in, present me with a letter pertaining to those very areas which I've highlighted, rights part, I refer it to the desk. I was not a hostile minister to say, look out, you can drop something to me. I had an open door policy. I will refer it to the right person where it belongs. And I testified on that one, my Lord. And I gave evidence, and I provide also the instrument, that very regulation. I provide the law. I made reference to the sections of the law. It is there.
All right, let's move on.
Correct, my Lord.
As you correctly said that it's accused persons, you wanted to refer to the second one, Mr. Shangala.
My Lord, not to waste the court's, but to unnecessarily object, my Lord, this evidence has been testified in detail. If there are specific aspects of the relationship between the witness and the other accused person that my learned friend wished to probe, he can go directly to it because the witness have testified at length in respect of each of the co-accused and its relationship with them, because otherwise he will just be repeating the evidence again. As it please the court.
I call to some extent, yes, that he gave evidence in respect to some of the accused, if not all, I'm not sure.
Yes.
But I think the proposal, they could also assist us to move.
Yes, Your Lordship. Okay.
in other words, it still allows you to canvass any aspect that you want to deal with, just to go straight to the issue.
Yes, Your Lordship.
Yes.
Go ahead.
In actual fact, there's a reason why I'm asking this question to the applicant before court, why I want him to highlight this right now in cross-examination. Just briefly, Mr. Shangala, since when did you say you have known him?
My Lord, first of all, I was saying I am not a peer group, I am not age group of those of my co-accused, all of them across the board. Some could have been my sons. My Lord, getting to the co-accused Shangala. Shangala, as I have testified, I said I met him when I was one of the national leaders of the unions at the 50th birthday party of our current president when he was a prime minister, where he was, but I never knew that this is Shangala. I never knew the name. I happened to know him, my Lord, when he was the law reform and development commission's chairperson. That's where I know him as well, not to say that we were close, we were together, because he's not my peer. I was not socializing with them. No.
All right. Oh, okay.
I had my peer groups, and I know them who they are.
All right. And what of Mr. Pius Mwatelulo?
Pius is he's a young man, my Lord. He's a very young man. He's maybe the age of my son, or maybe your age, maybe, I don't know. But he's a young man, my Lord. He's a very young man. Pius, you know, I never knew even the name of Pius.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to know when these disclosures and the names came.
Okay.
But otherwise, I cannot really.
You never knew him?
Just
right.
by. No, I never knew him, my Lord.
You said just by what?
Well, I said I knew him through this by the disclosure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the disclosure has given me a different perspective
Mm.
in the whole case here.
Yes.
Yeah, unprecedented for that matter.
Unprecedented. Yes, no, we'll get to that.
We'll get there.
Yes, you are getting there. Mr. Othniel Shidufonia, you know he's your co-accused, right?
Who?
Othniel Shidufonia.
Shidufonia.
You don't know your co-accused persons?
My Lord, I know them only when we were incarcerated, when I'm still in prison. I had first time to see them as well.
Oh, okay.
I never met them before. I never knew that these people are involved in this very saga.
All right. What of Mr. Philippus Mapopi? He's also your co-accused person?
Same.
Also, you never heard of him before
Not
this case?
at all, nothing at all, my Lord.
All right.
I don't know those people. I just happen to know them when they're in the Window Correctional Services. Yes, I know the other inmates as well, there, whom I started to.
Okay.
Some of them with whom we were working together. Some of them were councillors. Yes.
What of an entity called Jaco Investment CC? Have you ever heard of this CC?
No, I just happen to know it only very in the disclosure that there's a CC Jaco when I was perusing, going through this very documents, the disclosure, my Lord. Then I said there's a Jaco investment or a CC.
Okay. And what about Wanakadu Investment Trust? Were you aware of this trust?
I don't know, my Lord. I never knew it. I happen to know it only with the disclosure that there's a trust called Wanakadu Trust.
And Fine Seafood Investment CC.
No, I don't know, my lord.
Does also Fine Seafood Investment CC.
No, my lord. No.
So similarly, the first time you heard of it was when you received disclosure.
Disclosures.
All right. And Fine Seafood Investment Trust. You've never heard of it.
No, my lord.
So these entities that I've mentioned, you are not aware of them being involved in anything involving governmental objectives.
I see where you go. My
Yes,
lord,
let's get there.
my lord,
Uh,
I never knew those entities
mm,
because I never kept a register as I testified in my evidence in chief. I don't keep a register, my lord, that in fact have the particulars of any right holders, any quotas, or any licenses. I made reference to the Marine Resources Act 43.1, section 43.1. Who is keeping that very records? And I, as a minister, never had the capacity also to do a verification on such kind of entities. I never had such kind, and I testified in my evidence in chief,
all right.
43.1, the law. My-
Yes, so the short of it all, you were not aware that they were
I was
involved
not
in
aware.
anything involving governmental
Yeah,
objectives.
and I have not been involved in such kind of
All right,
knowing
all right.
intentionally or willingly.
Are you accepting perhaps negligently?
Sorry, my lord.
Are you
for this.
accepting you were perhaps negligently involved by signing off documents? You are saying you are not intentionally involved.
This is what the indictments are saying, my lord, in terms of the ACs, of those charges on me. I read the charges, my lord, which says knowingly, intentionally, and willingly to benefit me and any other person under 43.1 as well of the ACC Act.
Yes, it's a question in cross-examination. You are
Well,
saying it was not intentional, it was not willingly.
Yes.
And I'm asking you, was it negligently from your version?
My lord, when I signed, I testified that when this very letters from Stee and Fender came to me, brought to me, I was not a bottleneck. I don't want it to be a bottleneck or an obstacle in the way of finalizing the annual financial statements, the audited annual finance by the, and I said, let me sign off this thing, go and verify. Go and verify to the registry, who are these people? Because one was on a Friday. On a Friday, when Mike, the CEO then of Fishrot, brought this to my house, and I said, go and verify, and that's why it's not stamped even.
All right. Now, Mr. Esau, you have testified at length with regard to governmental objectives. You have testified as to what constitute governmental objectives and where the definition of governmental objectives can be found. You refer to the Marine Resources Act, Section 3, subsection 3. You remember that? You also refer to the action letter from Cabinet. Is that correct?
My Lord, I referred to the memo of Cabinet. I testified that, and I gave it as evidence, where I was seeking from Cabinet a directive on governmental objectives, and also seeking for the approval of a designated entity, which was Fishco. I testified on that. And I provided those very evidences to our honorable court and Lord. Based on that, a cabinet action letter came out. That cabinet action letter, my lord, was directing the Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources that this too, that is fish consumption and drought relief, are governmental objectives. I testified on that. And I also testified on the fact that this very action letter, cabinet action letter, is referred to the office of the permanent secretary. I have filed underneath of the letterhead all official correspondence is to go to the PS office. And it came from the cabinet secretariat in the office of the Prime Minister. So I testified on that matter. And I know those two were, in fact, governmental objectives.
Okay. So those two, the Namibian Fish Consumption Trust as well as government drought relief programs, as far as you know, even up to date, those are the only two governmental objectives that you are aware of?
Well, I don't know. I have not been in the office for the past 2.5, 3 years. Since 1999.
99?
2019.
Oh, okay.
2019.
Mm-hmm.
2019, 2020, I don't know what governmental objective quotas was allocated after me being of it. 2021, 2022, and even the current year, 2023. I don't know.
All right. Until the time you left office in 2019, these two objectives that you mentioned now, they are the only two governmental objectives that you are aware of at the time. Is that correct?
Correct, my lord.
You are not aware of any other governmental objectives?
My lord, in terms of the, well, they have not disclosed all the internal memos, whereby recommendations by the PS office and the management administration was brought before our honorable court here, my lord. They have not, maybe they will disclose it tomorrow, I don't know, in the new bundles. That was not disclosed. The others that was listed in terms of the letter from the PS office or the management administration of the Ministry of Fisheries, those were added by them recommending to the minister to sign off, to accept. That is what I have testified, my lord.
All right. Now, insofar as this case, you've noted from the indictment, and you've also testified on it, that you have become aware of funds derived from quotas for governmental objective purposes, which were diverted to law firms and so on, yes? To DHC, Sisa Namanje.
I have testified that I have never directed, I have not instructed anyone of my co-accused to pay money into Sisa Namanje, a law firm, neither to DHC.
Okay.
That was my testimony, my lord.
Okay.
I've never instructed, I have not directed.
All right. You've seen from the disclosure as well as the indictment that there was over 81,880,500 Namibian dollars which was paid to DHC in relation to these governmental objective quotas. You also noted from the indictment that there was 10,350,000 paid via Sign Food Investment Trust. There was 4,199,000.
Can you come back?
Yes.
This other one, the second one?
The second one is 10,350,000 paid via Fine Seafood Investment Trust.
Yes.
And then there was $4,199,995 paid to Wanakadi Investment CC. And $26,046,786. This was from the Novanam group of companies paid via Guanyemba Investment Trust, Wanakadi Investment CC, Fancy Food in CC. 15 million via the law firm Sisa Namanje and Company Incorporated. And there was then 29,625,000, which was paid from Low Key. You've noted, yes, from Low Key.
2021.
29,625,000. Now, has the minister, is the Minister of Fisheries at the time, these payments that I've referred to, from your knowledge, were these for governmental objective purposes?
Once again, my Lord, I want to draw the attention of our Honorable Court, my Lord, to the fact that I said that I have never directed or instructed anybody to make payments to all of this very list of so-called beneficiaries.
Oh, okay.
Number one, I made reference to the affidavit of the investigation task force led by Andreas Kanyangela. The payments were done to DHC since 2016. 2016. I never knew DHC. I never knew the shareholders of DHC in 2016. Does that allegation or that accusation say that I have been directing to ghost money to be paid to somebody whom I don't know or whatever? Same applies to fine seafood or what?
Yes.
I don't know those, and I have testified that a register was kept by the Office of the PS in terms of 43(1) of the Marine Resources Act. I testified on that one. And I also said that I am not party. I cannot shoulder any blame for payments made to that. Same applies to Wanakadu. I have never directed any payments to that because by the way, in 2016-17, I made reference to a speech, industry address, prepared for me by the officers of the PS and the administration to address the industry. And then in that very speech, my Lord, I gave it as, it was part of the documents, where I highlighted the fact that some of the fishing rights have come to an end. Some of the fishing rights have come to an end. I never listed even the fishing rights in that speech, who they are, because I don't keep records of that.
Okay.
So the same applies to Novanam. Novanam, when they were paying 26 million or whatever it's brought by the cross, I never knew what was the arrangements between Novanam and Fishco. Sisa Namanje, 2015, December 31st, 15 million was paid to Sisa Namanje. On what? A quota given in 2016 for the season 2016. I never knew about that I never directed, I never instructed payments to CISA for what? Under governmental objectives for what? 15 million was paid there. For me to have signed off that very confirmatory was just for me to ensure that the financials of Fiscal is not delayed, and for me to be blamed that I am a bottleneck in the finalization, because those very payments, I understand, was not supposed to be reflected into the books of Fiscal. That's what I was made to understand. Low-key, I don't know Low-key. Because, my Lord, in terms of payments to Low-key or any other beneficiary, fishing companies or things like that, I don't keep a register in terms of the particulars, the ownership, the status of that very companies. I don't know. I was just carrying out my duties as a minister of state in signing and getting these financials of Fiscal to be finalized. Because I had trust. Whatever was brought to me was in place. I had my trust. Because if I worked without having trust with subordinates or any other somebody, then it's a collapse of administration.
All right. Your Lordship, perhaps this would be the appropriate time to adjourn. I'd want to start referring to particular documents and pages for the court.
What time are we proceeding at tomorrow?
Can I request for 10 o'clock, Your Lordship, as usual, the usual time we start?
Is it 8 o'clock?
10 o'clock, Your Lordship.
10 o'clock?
Yes, Your Lordship.
My Lord, we just have requested we start at 9 o'clock to make up for some of the time that we have lost today.
Okay.
As please the court.
Mr. Somonji?
No objection to starting at 9 o'clock.
Your Lordship, as the court can see, I'm alone. I need to make copies for everyone. So that will need time. Possibly tomorrow morning there will be people to also assist with that. So if the court can just indulge us for 10 o'clock, Your Lordship. We made some effort. We've started today, despite the challenges. I just want to get all the documents ready for the court and the witnesses for tomorrow, Your Lordship. So I just request for us to start at the usual time that we normally start, as it pleases the court.
Well, I appreciate what you are saying.